Hello and welcome to RDC Study Circle. Here we are going to discuss about CBSE curriculum for class 12th physics. So there are 10 units in this syllabus and in final exams there is some weightage for each unit. So first unit is electrostatics and there are two chapters in this unit. First one is electric charges and fields and second one is electrostatic potential and capacitance. And unit 2 is electricity and the weightage for unit 1 and unit 2 is of 15 marks. So in electrostatics, electric charges and fields, a student will learn about electric charges, conservation of charges, Coulomb's law, force between 2-point charges, force between multiple charges, electric field due to a point charge, electric dipole, electric field due to a dipole, torque on a dipole in uniform electric field, about electric flux, and famous Gauss theorem and application of Gauss theorems. Second chapter is electrostatic potential and capacitance. In that, a student will learn about electric potential and potential difference between 2 points, electric potential due to a point charge, a dipole and a system of charges, about equipotential surfaces, electrical potential energy of a system of 2-point charge, and of electric dipole in an electric field, conductors and insulators, free charges and bound charges inside a conductor, about dielectric materials and dielectric polarization, and concept of capacitors, their capacitance and combination of capacitors in series and parallel and energy stored in a capacitor. Second unit is current and electricity. In that, a student come to know about electric currents, flow of electric charge in a metallic conductor, drift velocity, mobility and their relation with electric currents, famous Ohm's law, electric resistance, carbon resistors and color coding method for calculation of resistor value, series and parallel combination of resistors, internal resistance of a cell, potential difference, combination of cell in series and in parallel, Kirchhoff laws like Kirchhoff's voltage law and Kirchhoff's current law and their simple applications, Wheatstone bridges and meter bridge, and principle and applications of potentiometer. Third unit is magnetic effect of current and magnetism, and fourth unit is electromagnetic induction and alternating currents, and weightage for third and fourth unit is of 16 marks. So in magnetic effect of current and magnetism, first chapter is moving charges and magnetism. In that, a student will learn about concept of magnetic field, Oersted's experiment, Biot-Savart law and application to current carrying circular loop, and Ampere's law and its application to infinity long straight wire, straight and toroidal solenoids, force on moving charge in uniform magnetic and electric cyclotron, force on current carrying conductor in a uniform magnetic field, force between two parallel current carrying conductor and definition of ampere, moving coil instruments and their conversion to ampere, ammeter and voltmeters. And next part of this unit is magnetism and matters. In that, a student will learn about current loop as a magnetic dipole moment of revolving electrons, magnetic field intensity due to a magnetic dipole, bar magnet as an equivalent solenoid, magnetic field lines, earth magnetic field and magnetic elements, different magnetic substances like para, dia and ferro, and electromagnets and factors affecting their strength. And fourth unit is electromagnetic induction and alternating currents. In that, first chapter is electromagnetic induction, and student will get introduction of electromagnetic induction, famous Faraday's law, induced EMF and current, and Lenz's law for finding direction of induced EMF, eddy currents, self and mutual inductions. And second part of this unit is alternating current. In that, the student get introduction of alternating currents, peak and RMS value of alternating current and voltage, reactance and impedance, LC oscillations, LCR series circuits, resonance, power in AC circuits, power factor, wattless current, AC generators and transformers. Fifth unit is electromagnetic waves, and sixth unit is optics, and the equal weightage of unit 5th and 6th is of 17 marks. In electromagnetic waves, student will get introduction of basic idea of displacement current, electromagnetic waves, their characteristic, their transverse nature, and electromagnetic spectrums like radio waves, microwaves, infrared, visible, ultraviolet, X-ray, gamma rays, including elementary fact about their uses. And in optics, first chapter is ray optics and optical instruments that will cover ray optics, reflection of light, spherical mirrors like concave mirror and convex mirrors, mirror formulas, reflection of light, total internal reflections, and introduction of optical fibers, refractions at spherical surfaces, lenses, thin lens formulas, lens maker's formula, magnification of and power of lens, scattering of light, blue color of sky and reddish appearance at sunset and sunrise, about optical instruments like microscope and astronomical telescope and their magnifying powers. Second part of this unit is wave optics, and in that student will get introduction of wavefront and Huygens principle, reflection and refraction of plane wave at plane surface using wavefronts, proof of law of reflection and refraction using Huygens principle, and famous Young double slit experiment. In that, student get introduction to expression of fringe width, coherent sources, sustained interference of light, diffraction due to a single slit, width of central maxima, and resolving power of microscope and astronomical telescope, polarization, plane polarized light, Brewster's law, and use of plane polarized light and polarides. And 7th and 8th unit basically based on modern physics, and in unit 7 the first topic is dual nature of radiation and matters. In that, student get introduction of dual nature of radiation, photoelectric effects, Hertz and Lenard's observation, Einstein's photoelectric equation, and particle nature of light, matter, wave, and wave nature of particle, de Broglie relations, and Davison-Germer experiment. And second part of this group is atoms and nuclei, and under atoms topic, student get introduction of alpha particle scattering experiment, Rutherford's model of atoms, Bohr's model, energy levels, and hydrogen spectrum. And in second part, nucleus will cover composition and size of nucleus, radioactivity, alpha, beta and gamma particles and their properties, radioactive decay laws, mass energy relation and mass defect, binding energy per nucleon and its variation with mass numbers, nuclear fission and theory of nuclear fusion. And unit 9 and 10 of BET is 12 marks, It is based on electronics and communication. In Unit 9, students get introduction of electronic devices and topics are energy band in conductor, semiconductor and insulators, semiconductor diodes, their voltage current characteristic in forward bias and reverse bias conditions, application of diode as rectifier, some special purpose PN junction diodes like LED, photodiode, solar cells, Zener diode and their characteristics, and use of Zener diode as a voltage regulator. Some brief introduction of junction transistors, transistor action, their characteristic of transistor and transistor as an amplifier in common emitter configuration. Some basic idea of analog and digital signals and introduction to logic gates like OR and NOT, NAND and NOR gates. And in communication topic, student get introduction of element of communication system, the basic block diagram of this system, bandwidth of various signals like speech, TV and digital data signal, bandwidth of transmission medium, propagation of electromagnetic waves in the atmosphere, sky and space wave propagation and satellite communications. And students come to know about need for modulation and techniques of amplitude modulation. So it is all about syllabus of physics class 12 CBSE. Let's see the paper design patterns. So in CBSE final exams, questions based on different difficulty levels, and we try to classify that in 5 categories. First category is remembering skills. In that, ability of a student to remembering simple recall of questions, to know specific facts, terms, some concept, some principles, some theories, identify some objects, define or recite some informations. And weightage of such questions in final exam is of 10%. And let's see an example of remembering category question, that is define the term relaxation time in a conductor. Second category of question is based on understanding, and here ability of comprehension and to be familiar with meaning and to understand any theory and concept, interpret, compare or contrast, explain some concept or paraphrase some information, and weightage of such questions is 30%. Let's see an example of question based on understanding, like a battery of EMF 12 volt and internal resistance 2 ohm is connected to a 4 ohm resistor, so that the voltmeter when placed across the cell and across the resistor it gives the same reading. Here understanding of electrical circuits and voltage drop across resistor is tested. Third category of questions is based on application, skill of applications, where ability to use abstract information in concrete situation or to apply knowledge to new situation or to use given content to interpret a situation, provide an example or solve a problem. And the weightage of application type of question is of 30%. Let's see example of such questions, like draw a ray diagram when incident ray fall normally on one of two equal sides of right angled isosceles prism having refractive index mu root 3. Fourth category is bit higher level of understanding, that is higher order thinking skills. Here ability to analyze and synthesize is tested, and ability to classify, compare, contrast or differentiate between different pieces of information or organize or integrate unique piece of information from variety of sources. And weightage of such higher order thinking skills are 40%. Let's see an example of such question, that there is an AC circuit and an AC source is connected to an ideal inductor. Now student have to show that the average power supplied by the source over complete cycle is 0. And fifth category of question is based on evaluation ability, where the capacity to appraise, judge, or to justify a value or worth of a decision or outcome, or to predict outcome based on values is tested, and weightage of such questions is 60%, 16% in final examination. So let's see an example, like which mode of propagation is used by short wave broadcast service having frequency range from few megahertz up to 30 megahertz. Explain diagrammatically how long distance communication can be achieved this mode. Why is there an upper limit to frequency of wave used in this mode? Here judging capacity of a student is tested in this question. So it is all about the syllabus of CBSE class 12 physics and paper design concept of physics. I think it will be helpful for students who are coming in class 12th